and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we're going to be upgrading Axe Woves. Now first of all, what we're going to do is just remove all the accessories and like the video. And then next up, you want to go and get yourself your acetone, as long as it's got acetone in the label there, which is nail varnish remover. And we're just going to go around with a Q-tip and take away that white around the top of the helmet. So just grabbing your gunmetal and also flat black, we're going to add these two together and just actually make the gunmetal a little bit darker. You can keep measuring it up to next to his armour. You want to get a kind of like a sort of metallic look of the armour that he has at the moment. Once you got to that desired kind of sort of look there, then obviously just paint all the armour parts. His shoulder pads, the bits on top of his shoulder, his old breastplate and the bit there, and also his bum plate, which is around on the back. I almost forgot that. And the top of his thighs. So as you can see from here, I'm actually using the Hot Toys as my image reference here. There's not many pictures really of Axe, as he only appeared in that one episode, but as you can see from this kind of Hot Toys, it's got a really nice light around it, and Hot Toys are normally pretty accurate as well. So just bringing that over to our sort of Black Series will make a massive impact on this figure, I reckon. Also with your gunmetal mix, don't forget the top of his hands. He's got a little kind of a plate on there, so you want to paint those as well. Next up, we're using red brown. We're just going to paint his shoes here, and also the bib that hangs down from his torso underneath his belt. We're painting that the same colour, and also his holster. Just using a different type of brown here, which is the flat brown. I'm just actually doing these pockets and all that a different colour as well, so it just kind of adds to it. Now I've gone back to the red brown because I did actually paint it the other way around and I didn't like it. So the pockets need to be a darker brown and a lighter brown for the actual bib part and the holster. So grabbing buff XF57, make sure you put a little bit of water there because you want to sort of make it as matted as possible, but not too much obviously, but it spreads really nicely. And just go around that flat jacket, which Hasbro have done grey, but it's supposed to be a bit more of an earthy colour. Using your gunmetal mix as well, don't forget on the helmet, the T-visor part around the outside needs to have that metallic bit on there as well. I didn't really go to town and really cover it, I just kind of sort of rubbed it on in certain areas, so you just got that reflection on there. So grabbing your white and your steady hand, we're going to add that circle or line around his helmet. It's up to you how you want to do this. You could do it freehand like me, or you can grab some masking tape or just put some little dots around that you know that you need to connect to each one as you go around. It's entirely up to you, whatever you find easier. I'm just a little bit lazy, and once I've done it, I'll make the line a little bit thicker, and you can always grab a cocktail stick where you've kind of gone a little bit off track to line it back up straight again. It's entirely up to you. So grabbing a blue that matches the rest of his armour, just around the tip of that kind of thruster there, there's a little line, and you just need to make that blue. So now I'm just going to grab the chrome silver. With this, I'm just going to actually go over the top of all the silver parts there on the jetpack. Actually, it's quite a nice silver already on the jetpack, but it just doesn't cover enough, so I thought I'd decide to cover it as well with the chrome silver. With the chrome silver as well, you want to add your studs on your little pouches and belts around there. Don't forget the little clip on the back of his belt, and also the one on the holster. It just adds a lot more to it. We can also, on the bottom of his boots, he's got like two little things that sit through the kind of sort of like belt part, so you want to add that on there. And then we can add the chipping and all that all over the place, so don't forget to add it onto his sort of like knee darts, scratches over his braces, and all over the armour as well. I'll leave you for it. You can just watch here, or you can use the reference picture as putting your silver down, but I kind of just done it freeball. I feel like Axe Woves doesn't really have a lot of sort of dents and stuff on there. I kind of feel like he looks after his armour in an easy way. So I just wanted to not put too many scratches on there, but just enough that he's had a few little battles recently. Next up, we're going to black wash the figure. Just do a little bit at the time. So I start with the flat jacket and then just rub it off. I try and dry brush at certain points, but I think a wet is definitely needed for this figure, just to get in those itty gritty parts around on there. So just pull it on there, brush it off. I use a little bit of cotton wool here just to get off the excess. You can use a cloth, you can use a table, kitchen towel or something like that. Whatever's easier and what you have at your choice there. And just literally cover that figure, definitely the whole flight suit underneath, because it needs to look a little bit more grubbier than that kind of shiny grey. So now we're coming to the end. I'm just using a few more chips and silver chipping there on the jetpack as well, and then using the flat black. I'm also just going slightly along the chips that I've put in the place. It kind of gives it a little bit more depth and a little bit more damage over the top. So just adding those little black sort of like ticks in certain areas over the armour really adds to the weathering details on there. So I guess I'll see you at the end of the video, and if you enjoyed what you are seeing, then please subscribe, ding the bell and like the video as well. So here he is, all finished and done and ready to join all his other Mandos. I was going to say brothers, but sisters, I guess, with Bo-Katan and Costco Reeves. But yeah, not really a lot of paints here used. It was actually quite simple, which is pretty cool, to be honest with you. So for the armour, where we started off with was the X10 gunmetal on that part, and then also with X1 flat black as well, simple colours that we always use on the channel, and just pouring that into that pot with slightly a bit of this and darkening that gunmetal down so it's not as chromy. Actually brings off that kind of look on there. It looks really nice now. Got this kind of metallic, but it's also made it quite dark as well to the original colour. Next up, for his undershirt, like these little flat jacket part there, XF57, which is nice buff, just a nice colour on there. Just always add a little bit of water, just wash it over, because you don't want it to go too glossy. You just want it to have that nice little matte coat on there, and it just actually finishes off really nice. And then the last really colours that we have used, so we used red brown. Red brown to me is like the best brown you can get. It's a really nice dark leathery colour, and just fits perfectly for these ones. And it just, even before you even just finish painting, it starts drying and it just looks perfect already. So we used that on his feet down here, and also the bib part of his kind of tunicky kind of bit that goes underneath, and his holster. And then we used flat brown, which is not as a nice brown, but it's a bit of a darker one than the red brown, just for his pockets around on the outside. You don't really notice it once you actually put it on. You could probably do it all in one brown, but when you put the black wash over it, it kind of dulls it down, but it just gives that slight finish. This one's a little bit more matty, and this one's just that little bit more shinier on there. You can see it more off the camera than on there. And then last in the Tamura, we used the chrome silver X11. Brilliant silver, it's the best chrome out there, beats aluminium and those other ones. I think it just applies a lot better. And that's all the chips that we've added to him, and on his jetpack as well, just going over the silver parts. It really adds that reflective part to it. And then the last bits is obviously the white that we have put around onto the top of his helmet, around on there. You can use any white, but this is the only white I have. And then blue as well, which is the closest blue that I had. Didn't really care, and that's just to put that extra little line around the bottom of his jetpack there, so it just adds all those extra details. So taking a closer look at the guy and going from the top, so obviously acetoned off the original helmet sort of line around there and adding on the next white down. It's up to you if you want to do it freehand. You can always get a bit of masking tape around there. Sometimes I'm a little bit impatient. Then adding also the flat black as well. We've added some extra sort of scratches and stuff around there with the silver chip-ins as well. That gunmetal working all over his helmet, so it gets that reflective part. It links it all the way down. That buff really shines, you know, it really makes it different compared to the rest of his suit as well. Giving that black wash all over and around on those extra chip-ins around on the back. Just those extra lines, all those extra parts, just adding to the actual effect of the figure. Just finishing it off, and just those little scuffs on there. Dry brush a little bit. You can apply it as yourself, and always put the sort of the black over the top of it and splodge it with your finger a little bit. It just kind of gives off that kind of, it looks like it's been hit kind of way, and weathered down. And then down to his bits down here. And the only thing we didn't really have to paint was actually the top of his boots, because they are kind of like sort of chaps that kind of fit over the top of his boots there. And obviously don't forget silver in those parts on there, silver on the little clip here and around on the back. So yeah, all in all, really cool, really good looking guy. Obviously we didn't actually do anything to his face. I could have done a matte coat really, I suppose, on his face, but I don't really want to do that. I just want to keep him just like so. But yeah, so now we have finished the trio, which was I forgot his name then, Axe Woves, and then we've got Cosca Reeves where she finished, and then Bo-Katan as well. So all these are all being upgraded, they're all on the channel, and just putting them all together, just really, I mean, look at that, they're Black Series figures, but they almost look like hot toys just sitting there on the shelf. I'm really quite proud how these turned out. So let me know in the comments down below, are you going to try this one at home? Have you done it all free so far, or is this really going to make you go out there and actually start customizing those figures? Let me know in the comments down below. You can subscribe, ding that bell, follow me on Instagram where you see more pictures of these guys, which is in the description down below, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.